I'm sitting at a table with my daughter and I told her I want to make a video where I teach dads how to play with dolls. And she said, why do you need to do that? Like anybody can play with dolls. So I said, okay. I turned my camera on and I said, how do you play with dolls? Here's what she said.
Well, I'm trying to think.
But you just said that it's really easy and anybody should be able to do it.
Because you just make it up as you go.
Okay, so how do you make it up? Where do we start?
You start at who's in the game.
Okay.
And then you pick those dolls.
Okay.
And after that, you just kind of pick what it's going to be.
So we've already learned we need to pick our characters and we need to pick a location. It's also interesting to note that some dolls have multiple personalities.
Okay. So if you want them to be a different person, you call them by a different name. At some point...
So he can be Ken and Trey, like split personality. We can be two people.
Yes.
Okay.
He could also be called Larry.
Larry? Okay. I might have to make a list if I gotta remember. But that's something we'll talk about a little bit later. But the real reason you're watching this video is not because you want to learn how to play with dolls, right? It's because you want to spend time with your little girl. And that's what this is really about. How do we introduce ourselves into this world with her and enjoy that time together? For me, the fastest way to break through that wall and make it happen is to make something together. So let's start a quick build montage as I show you how we built this dollhouse. I'll also give you some tips along the way on how to get the most out of this experience. My initial plan was to cut all the parts myself and then just let the kids help me build the pieces together. But once they found out I was actually cutting parts for the dollhouse, they immediately came out to the shop and wanted to be involved. You'll see them here in just a minute. Now, if you follow my other YouTube channel, you know I love to design and build all kinds of complicated things. I ended up designing a dollhouse that had spinning flowers on the outside. The top would pop open. It had all sorts of levers and gears. And then one day I looked at this and I thought, you know what? If I'm gonna finish this before she gets married, I probably should just download some plans and make that. And so that's what I decided to do. Now remember, this doesn't have to be expensive. You could even make this house out of cardboard if you want. I even made this bed, as you can see here. It's been beat up and abused a little bit and it's still in pretty good condition. If it wears out, you have an excuse to make new furniture or to redesign things. Now I knew this part wasn't going to be all that exciting for very long, which is why I didn't want to bring the kids out for this part. But they quickly set me straight on that and figured out how to entertain themselves. Clearly, I have grossly underestimated the entertainment value of these roll-around stools. In fact, after watching this for a while, I decided, you know what, I could probably join in with them. So I did. Now, I invite my kids out to the shop all the time, and so they're used to being out here. But this is the first time we've ever just played in the shop. And I gotta tell you, this was really a great experience. I'm so glad they insisted on coming out with me. We had a lot of fun. We were literally just making it up as we go. And we did this for hours. It was really beautiful and worth every minute. Another awesome thing that came out of this was we had a lot of time to just talk and goof around about things that weren't important. As parents, we often want to talk about the things that concern us as adults, especially towards our children, right? We tell them how to watch out for strangers and we tell them about sex and the concerns we have with that. But when they want to talk to you about their stuffed animals or about things that you think are kid level stuff, you're not as interested or you're too busy. Never underestimate the value of having those conversations about the things that matter to them, because later on you're going to want them to be interested in the things that matter to you. If you can build a history of having very comfortable, leisurely conversations with them, it makes it much easier to have those really uncomfortable conversations, and they don't anticipate that every conversation with you is going to be an uncomfortable one.
Lucy can't get up.
Yep. Oh gosh. Everybody's asleep. We got hangers. Wait a minute. We got stuff in the cabinet already? When did that happen? Okay. Building the dollhouse was fun, but of course you don't actually need to build anything. If you want, you can just walk into her room, pick up one of her dolls and say, hey, who is this? and the game is on. It's just that easy. So let's go back to the kitchen table, and I'm going to let my daughter continue to share with us some pro tips. And how do we decide what kind of person he is?
The first time you get them out of the box, or wherever you get them,
Okay.
you just play a game with them. And whatever personality they end up with in the game is who they are. He could be weird.
When he's sort of born, we take him out of the box and we have the character.
Yes.
Whatever happens that first day, that's who he is.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
That's exactly who he is. But sometimes we like to make up his name because we only have like 6 dolls.
Okay.
So if you want them to be a different person, you call them by a different name. At some point.
So he can be Ken and Trey, like split personality. We can be 2 people.
Yes.
Okay.
He could also be called Larry.
Larry? Okay, I'm gonna have to make a list if I gotta remember Larry, Trey, and Ken.
And I think those are the only names he has.
So that's how we get 3 people out of 1.
Yes.
And they each have different personalities.
Yes.
So when he's Trey,
he's kind of a normal businessman. When he's Ken, he's a weirdo.
A weirdo?
And when he's Larry, he's normal.
Quick pro tip here. If you can remember names and characteristics, you get huge bonus points with your daughter. FYI, this also works with your wife. I basically made myself a little cheat sheet by taking a picture of all the dolls and writing their names on top of them. Okay.
Roxy's kind of strange, and Emma's a normal person.
Wait, you had Emma at the beginning, right? When I took the picture and I had all the dolls? Okay, yeah.
Emma was the first one, and Roxy was the second. Yeah, she's kind of the person that's always in the game.
Okay. Wait, is she the one who made the dress out of socks?
Yes.
Okay, because that was pretty impressive. I remember the one that I saw was the long dress with the...
fancy edge?
Fancy edge. I want to see that one.
Well, I know which one. Which doll's wearing it.
But this is that fancy dress I remember seeing the other day.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the fancy sock. So
we spent a good hour and a half playing with these dolls. And one of the things that I noticed over and over again is how much this feels a lot like improv. If you know anything about improv, you know that there are rules. And some of the most popular ones being things like you say yes to everything and you add new information. So if your daughter says something like, hey, you want to go to the store or you want to go skydiving, you always say yes and you always add something to it. I'm going to put a link in the description that gives you a list of some of these improv rules with details. I think just having that in the back of your mind will make it a lot more fun and you should find it pretty helpful. All you have to do is make it up as you go.
Yeah.
And you got to have a story.
Well, you don't always have to have a story. You can just kind of pick where they are and then pick up the doll and start. Like, let's say if she was in her sewing shop and Maria said hi, start it.
Okay. This story kind of went all over the place.
That's the making of this bill part.
I think it went pretty good. And I got to try some crunchy pie. I have to talk about the difference between action figures and dolls. By the way, this is a transformer built out of Connects made by my boys. There are a whole bunch of these things they've made upstairs. I have noticed, and this is just me, that when transformers disagree, they tend to fight. When the girls disagree, they tend to ignore each other or stop talking. And I find that interesting. But I would love to know, what do you think the difference is between action figures and dolls? Let me know down in the comment section. There's one more thing I want to talk to you about before I close this video. And that is, when you're playing with dolls, you are literally role-playing life. You have an opportunity here to share with her your values, the things that are important to you, in a very comfortable environment. Don't mess it up by making the whole session about how short Barbie's dress is. But listen to what I'm telling you. If there's something you want to say about how men and women should behave, about how people should interact, about life values in general, this is your opportunity to share that with her. We've all got different perspectives on this. You know, some you feel like you're more modern, you're more traditional. What I'm telling you is that you as a parent have an opportunity to share your values with your child. Don't be a fool and miss this opportunity. That opportunity is laying right there on the floor in front of you. It's called a doll. All right, go be a dad.